What are the biblical prophecies that could happen soon and catapult the world into the 7-year tribulation period? Will the Christian church still be here on earth to experience these perilous predictions, or will it be raptured prior? Welcome to the Pre-Tribulation Prophecies. I'm your host, Tom Hughes, and in this video, Bible prophecy expert Bill Salus and I will explain, explore, and attempt to sequence the biblical predictions between now and the final 7-year tribulation period. Welcome, Bill. This is going to be a terrific time. Thank you for joining me in studio for what's going to be a fantastic exploration of the last days events.
Thank you, Tom. Great to be here and to collaborate with you on this work. These prophecies are coming at us like a freight train. I mean, the world is stage setting, everything's starting to converge. So what a time to put these prophecies out in front of the viewer so they can sort of understand them, prepare for them, and witness through them, that sort of thing. So why don't we start? Let's put a timeline up to put the viewers in motion as to what we'll be talking about, with an emphasis on a couple stages of the 10-stage timeline. First of all, you'll see on the image, folks, we've got the church age, stage 1, stage 2, the rapture. We don't know exactly when that's going to come. Tom, I'll have you talk about that shortly. And then there's this little gap between the rapture and the tribulation of unspecified time, because it's not the rapture that starts the tribulation, so that's stage number 3. Then you have a false covenant gets confirmed. We'll talk a little bit about that in our shows here. And that's stage 4, and that starts the 7-year tribulation. Stage 5 is the first half of the tribulation, 3.5 years, 1,260 days, etc., different names for it, 42 months. Then you have a midpoint, very powerful, stage 6. Covenant gets broken, desolation, abomination of desolation, things like that would happen there. A lot of things going on at the midpoint, stage 6. Stage 7, you have a second half, the great tribulation. Tribulation is great, worse than the first half. Then you have 8 is the second coming, stage 8. 9, you have a 75-day interval that Daniel talks about in Daniel chapter 12. And then you have stage 10 is the millennium, the high point of Old Testament prophecies for the Jews. You got the 1,000-year millennium. So those are the 10 stages. Our emphasis is going to be in stages 1, 2, and 3. The church age, the rapture, stage 2, and the gap. So you'll hear prophecies right now that we're in the church age. We think these prophecies might find fulfillment in the church age, but the minute the rapture happens, those prophecies, if they are truly pre-tribulation, they become gap prophecies. And that gap has not been explored by a lot of people. Tom, you believe there's a gap, don't you?
Yes. Yeah, I do. In fact, I've been teaching that for a while now. I didn't used to think so, but now I've looked at it, and it's the only thing that actually makes any sense to me when I look at the seals as they are unfolded, or opened up, I should say.
Right. So we may actually have quite a few prophecies, depending on when the rapture happens, because we have quite a few pre-tribulation prophecies. We'll have you go through those in just a moment. We'll put an image up on the screen. But we may have some of those pre-tribulation prophecies slide over into the gap if the rapture happens as soon as we're hoping.
Yeah. Okay, so let me ask you about that. So apart from the rapture, because the rapture could happen at any moment, and let me explain this also to our viewers out there. Both Bill and we both agree that there's a pre-tribulation rapture. So as you hear us talk about things, you may be thinking, well, how does this fit with the pre-tribulation rapture? We both believe it, and this is what we're going to be exploring, is what is going to happen, apart from the rapture, which could happen any moment. What is the next thing that we could be looking for?
Right, and there's a list we'll put up on an image. You want to read those are?
So this is what we have to look for. Disaster in Iran, according to Jeremiah's prophecies. Destruction of Damascus. I've talked about that many times, as you have, Isaiah chapter 17 and Jeremiah 49. The toppling of Jordan. Terrorization of Egypt. Final Arab-Israeli war. The emergence of the exceedingly great Israeli army. The expansion of Israel, vanishing of the Christians, emergence of a greater, safer, and wealthier Israel, and the decline of America. With these, Bill, I'm going to ask you to do this. That's a lot here. You've already said quite a bit. So with that, what I'm going to ask you to do is let's dive into these one at a time to help our viewers really get a good understanding of what to expect now, what to expect in the near future.